the fighter that changed air combat forever. For decades, every major air force on Earth chased the same goal: air superiority. Because history has repeatedly proven one thing: whoever controls the skies often controls the battlefield below. During the Cold War, the United States developed aircraft like the F-15 Eagle, a fighter so dominant that it earned a legendary reputation. But military planners knew something troubling: no advantage lasts forever. Across the world, the Soviet Union continued developing new generations of fighters, aircraft that would eventually evolve into powerful platforms such as the Su-27 flanker, and later the Su-30. American strategists began asking a dangerous question: what happens when future enemy fighters become equal to the F-15? What happens when the Eagle is no longer enough? The answer was ambitious: build something entirely new. Not an upgraded fighter, not a modified design, but a revolutionary aircraft, a machine designed to dominate every opponent before the fight even begins. The result was the Advanced Tactical Fighter Program, a competition that would eventually produce one of the most advanced combat aircraft ever built, the F-22 Raptor. From the beginning, the Raptor was designed around four principles: stealth, speed, supercruise, and unmatched situational awareness. Unlike traditional fighters, the F-22 was not designed to simply win dogfights. It was designed to see first, shoot first, and survive first, before the enemy even knew it was there. Its radar signature became incredibly small. Its sensors became extraordinarily powerful. Its engines delivered enormous thrust, and its ability to fly at supersonic speeds without afterburners gave it a capability few aircraft could match. For the first time, a fighter could combine stealth and speed at an unprecedented level. The aircraft wasn't merely dangerous, it represented a completely different philosophy of air warfare. But creating the world's most advanced fighter came at a price, an enormous price. Development costs soared, political debates intensified, and critics questioned whether any aircraft could truly justify such investment. Yet, despite the controversy, the United States continued forward because military leaders believed the F-22 represented something larger than a fighter. It represented the future, a future where information, stealth, and technology would matter more than sheer numbers. But did the Raptor actually live up to the hype? Was it truly the unbeatable predator many claimed to be? Or was it simply the most expensive fighter ever built? To answer that question, we must first understand what made the F-22 different from every fighter that came before it, and why many experts still consider it one of the most dangerous aircraft ever created. Welcome to Eagle War Machine. This is the story of F-22 Raptor, the Predator built to rule the skies. What makes the Raptor so dangerous? Imagine entering a fight against an opponent you cannot see. An opponent who already knows where you are. An opponent who has already locked onto you. And an opponent who may have already fired before you even realize the battle has begun. That was the vision behind the F-22 Raptor. Not simply to defeat enemy fighters, but to make sure the enemy never had a fair fight in the first place. The first weapon of the Raptor is stealth. Most fighters announce their presence through radar reflections. The larger the radar signature, the easier they are to detect. But the F-22 was designed to minimize that signature. its shape, its internal weapons bays, its special radar-absorbent materials. Everything was engineered to reduce the chances of detection. The goal was simple: stay invisible for as long as possible. But stealth alone is not enough. You must also find the enemy. And this is where the Raptor becomes truly dangerous. The F-22 carries one of the most sophisticated sensor systems ever installed in an aircraft fighter. Its radar can track multiple targets simultaneously. Its onboard computers process enormous amounts of information, and its pilot receives a clear picture of the battlefield long before many opponents are even aware of the threat. This creates an enormous advantage. In air combat, the fighter that sees first often wins first, and the Raptor was built around that principle. Then comes another revolutionary capability: supercruise, a term that changed military aviation. Most fighters require afterburners to maintain supersonic speed. Afterburners provide tremendous thrust, but they also consume huge amounts of fuel and create a massive infrared signature. The F-22 does something different. It can fly faster than the speed of sound without using afterburners. This capability allows the aircraft to move rapidly across the battlefield while conserving fuel and reducing visibility. Few aircraft in history have possessed this combination: stealth, speed, and advanced situational awareness. Together, they create something unique: a fighter that can approach undetected, strike unexpectedly, and disappear before the enemy fully understands what happened. But the story does not end there, because despite all of its technology, the Raptor is still a fighter aircraft, and eventually every fighter faces the same question: what happens when the battle becomes personal? What happens when missiles miss? And what happens when two aircraft meet face to face in the sky? Can the F-22 dogfight? Can it outmaneuver elite fighters such as the SU-30, the SU-35, or even modern European aircraft? And is the Raptor truly as dominant as its reputation suggests? Because some of the answers may surprise you, and some of them have fueled debate among pilots for decades. The truth awaits in Part 3. Mission continues.
Can anyone beat the Raptor? For years, the F-22 Raptor has carried a reputation unlike any other. Some call it the king of the skies. Others call it the most dangerous fighter ever built. And many pilots around the world still ask the same question: can anyone actually beat it? On paper, the answer seems simple. The F-22 combines stealth, supercruise, advanced sensors, and extreme maneuverability, a combination few aircraft can match. But air combat is never that simple, because every fighter has strengths and every fighter has weaknesses. Consider the SU-30, a fighter famous for its agility, a machine capable of astonishing maneuvers, equipped with thrust vectoring technology, and flown by some of the most experienced pilots in the world. In a close-range dogfight, many aviation enthusiasts believe the SU-30 could create serious challenges, especially if the battle begins within visual range. Then is the SU-35, an evolution of the flanker family, more powerful, more agile, and equipped with modern avionics. Many analysts consider it one of the most capable fourth-generation fighters ever built. But the F-22 was never designed to fight on equal terms. Its philosophy is different. The Raptor wants to detect first, engage first, and destroy the enemy before a dogfight ever begins. This is where stealth changes everything. Because a fighter that remains unseen possesses a tremendous advantage. And throughout numerous exercises and training scenarios, the F-22 repeatedly demonstrated its ability to achieve that advantage. Yet Russia is not the only challenger. Europe also entered the competition. The Rafale, the Eurofighter Typhoon, both highly advanced aircraft, both equipped with sophisticated sensors and weapons, both respected by pilots around the world. In training exercises, these aircraft have occasionally achieved impressive results, and every such encounter fuels debate. Could a skilled pilot overcome the Raptor? Could tactics defeat technology? Could experience defeat stealth? The truth is complicated, because real combat depends on many factors: weather, training, intelligence, numbers, support aircraft, electronic warfare, and sometimes simple luck. But one fact remains difficult to ignore. Since entering service, the F-22 has established an extraordinary reputation among military professionals. Many pilots who have flown against it describe the experience in similar terms. You often do not see it. You often do not know where it is. And by the time you realize the threat, the engagement may already be over. That is why many experts continue to regard the Raptor as one of the most dominant air superiority fighters ever created. Not because it cannot be challenged, but because challenging it is extraordinarily difficult. Yet despite all this power, another mystery surrounds the F-22. Perhaps the greatest mystery of all.
Why did America stop building the F-22? At first glance, the decision makes no sense. The F-22 Raptor was faster than most fighters, stealthier than most fighters, more advanced than almost every aircraft in existence, and widely regarded as the world's premier air superiority fighter. So why stop building it? Why would the United States voluntarily end production of one of the most capable fighters ever created? Pause. The answer begins with a single word: money. The F-22 was an engineering masterpiece, but engineering masterpieces are rarely cheap. Every component was cutting edge. Every system pushed technological limits. Every aircraft required enormous resources to manufacture. Pause. As development costs increased, the overall program became one of the most expensive fighter projects in history. And when the Cold War ended, many politicians began asking difficult questions. Pause. The Soviet Union was gone. America had no peer competitor. And many believed future conflicts would involve insurgencies and counter-terrorism operations rather than large-scale air wars. Pause. In that environment, some leaders argued that America simply did not need hundreds of Raptors. The perceived threat had changed, and military priorities began shifting. Pause. Then another aircraft entered the conversation, the F-35 Lightning II. Unlike the F-22, the F-35 was designed for mass production. It could be sold to allies. It could perform multiple missions, and it promised to become the backbone of Western air power. Pause. Many decision-makers concluded that investing in the F-35 made more sense than continuing unlimited F-22 production. And in 2009, a historic decision was made. F-22 production would end. Pause. The final number shocked many observers. Only 187 operational F-22s would ever be built. A tiny fleet compared to what planners originally envisioned. For an aircraft considered the world's best fighter, that number seemed incredibly small. Pause. Yet another controversial decision made the story even more remarkable. The United States banned exports of the F-22. No ally could buy it, no matter how much close the relationship. no matter how much money they offered. Pause. Japan wanted it. Australia showed interest. Other partners expressed curiosity, but Washington refused every request. The technology was considered too sensitive, too valuable, too important to risk. Pause. As a result, the F-22 became something unique, a fighter possessed by only one nation on Earth, the United States, and that exclusivity only increased its mystique. Pause. Yet, as years passed, new questions emerged. China introduced the J-20. Russia unveiled the SU-57. Advanced missile systems continued evolving, and suddenly, the world once again looked more dangerous. Pause. Some analysts began wondering, did America stop production too early? Should more Raptors have been built? Could the world's most dominant fighter have become even more important than originally expected? Pause. Because today, the F-22 remains one of the most respected fighters ever created. Yet its numbers are limited, its production lines are gone, and its replacement is already being planned. A replacement that may become the most advanced combat aircraft in human history. But before we talk about the future, we must answer one final question. Was the F-22 truly worth it? Was it the greatest air superiority fighter ever built, or simply the most expensive? The final verdict. Throughout this documentary, we have explored the story of the F-22 Raptor, its origins, its technology, its dominance, and the controversy surrounding its production. Now, we arrive at the ultimate question. Was the F-22 worth it? From a financial perspective, the answer is not simple. The aircraft cost billions of dollars to develop. Production numbers were drastically reduced, and only 187 operational aircraft were ever built. Pause. Many critics argued that the program was too expensive, too ambitious, and too advanced for its time. Pause. Yet military history often judges weapons differently, not by how much they cost, but by what they achieve. And in that regard, the F-22 achieved something extraordinary. Pause. For more than 20 years, it established a reputation unlike any other fighter. A reputation built on stealth, speed, situational awareness, and unmatched air superiority capabilities. Pause. Pilots respected it, adversaries studied it, and air forces around the world measured their own fighters against it. Because whether they admitted it or not, the Raptor became the benchmark, the standard by which all modern fighters were judged. Pause. Did it have weaknesses? Of course, every aircraft does. Technology evolves, threats evolve, and no fighter remains untouchable forever. Pause. Yet even today, many experts still regard the F-22 as one of the most capable air superiority fighters ever built. Not because it is invincible, but because its combination of stealth, speed, sensors, and maneuverability remains extraordinarily difficult to match. Pause. So, was the F-22 worth the investment? The answer is yes. Not because it was perfect, not because it was cheap, but because it changed air combat forever. It forced competitors to rethink fighter design. It accelerated the global race towards stealth technology, and it redefined what a modern fighter could be. Pause. The Raptor did not simply enter history, it changed history. Pause. Yet even legends eventually face a successor. Because while the F-22 continues protecting American skies, engineers are already working on something even more ambitious. Something designed for the wars of tomorrow. Something designed to dominate threats that do not yet fully exist. Pause. And if those predictions are true, the aircraft replacing the Raptor may become the most advanced combat machine ever built. Pause. But can anything truly replace the Raptor? Can any aircraft surpass the legend? And what exactly is NGAD? The answers await in our next documentary. Eagle war machine, NGAD, the fighter designed to replace the Raptor.